Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my Cosmic Ripples crochet along. So today what we're going to be doing, or in this portion of the video, we're going to be making 4 of these squares. Yep, that's right, only 4. They're not tremendously difficult, but I do like the different textures on them with the back post stitches, as you can see. So what we're going to, I'll just place this to one side. I've still left one tail out of that one. So what I've used for this is basically what I had left from part 1 of one of my colours. So I wanted to kind of tie this square in with just a couple of rounds in the centre before moving on to 2 different colours. So I'm using 2 full balls of wool again for this one, plus some black. I know everybody hates black on videos, but it's only 1 round, so 1 round and a little bit even, so it's not too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my part 1 of this blanket. Make sure you have it the right way. I was right the first time. So nice and easy round. All you want to do for this round, because I do always like a good a little bit of black in my projects, because it just helps to separate colours and different parts. So I'm just going to join in any corner and chain up 3, another double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. I'm trying to grab that tail as I go and failing miserably. So there's another 2. Wow, I don't want to go in there that. So I know it's difficult to see, but not doing anything different on this round. It's just, that's me dog in the garden again. It's just literally going in stitch for stitch, and what this is going to create is just a really nice disconnect from this section and the last section of our blanket. Right, so I'm just going to leave my dog to bark in the garden, and I'm going to leave you to stitch away. So I will join you back when we start making the squares. Right, welcome to the squares, and this is going to be round 1 and round 2. So we're just going to start off with our 4mm crochet hook, or whatever crochet hook you've been using, and we're going to make a slip knot with 4 chains. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we're just starting this like a regular granny square, so slip stitch into your first chain and chain 3. 1, 2 and 3, and then I'm going to work over this tail as I go, and I'm going to put in another 2 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2, and then chain 2, place in another 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, another 2 chains, and another 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3, another 2 chains and another 3 double crochets. So that's 1, 2 and 3, and we just need to do that last corner. So chain 2 and slip stitch into the 3rd chain at the beginning of the round. Just like that. So I'm just going to go straight into round 2. So you want to chain up 3, 1, 2 and 3, and place 1 single crochet in the next, 1 double crochet in the next, 1 in the next. So now we have a chain 3 and 2 double crochets, and then you want to do a corner, so that's 2 double crochets into that chain 2 corner space, chain 2, and another 2 double crochets right into that corner. So that's 1 and 2, and then we're just going to carry on across this row. So don't forget this first cheeky little double crochet there can sometimes hide underneath your corner stitches, and we're just going to stitch across. So on this round you should have 7 stitches per side. If I remember rightly, I will just double check for you in a second. So there's 1, 2 from the corner, so then I'm just going to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, I was right. So now we're in a corner, so I need to chain 2. And then another 2 doubles, all into that same chain 2 corner space. Whoops, I nearly missed that first double there, if you saw that. So I'm just going to speedy on along, because by now you should be able to make the first 2 rounds of a solid granny square. So for this crochet along, I decided rather than just stick with similar kind of colours, what kind of work together, I'm just doing it all neons, I think. Like a nice bright blanket. Right, and that's my last corner, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slip stitch into that chain 3 at the beginning of that round, and I'm just going to slip stitch into the next stitch as well. And at this point we need to be cutting our yarn, leaving a nice tail, because we're just going to work that in, I think. Right, so join me back on for round 3. Right, round 3. So that's the last of yellow, what I need to use on these squares. So now I'm just going to go to my 2 other colours which I've chosen, which is this really bright fuchsia with this neon orange. It's a bit of a funny colour combination, but I think by the time we have even more colours in this blanket, it'll all just start to make sense. So I'm just going to pick a corner a little bit away from this. So I'll just go to the opposite one, and then draw up a loop right in this corner. And I'm going to chain 3. So 1, 2 and 3. I'm going to do my corner as normal, so that's a chain 3, a double crochet, a chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. Right, so we are going to be doing something a little bit different right now. So to make these ridges, what we're going to be doing is a back post double crochet. So it's not as difficult as it sounds, but it can be a little bit on the fiddly side for anyone who's not familiar with the back post double crochet. So it's very easy. We're going to start with this very first stitch. So we're still doing stitch for stitch on this square. So we're going to yarn over, and then I'm going to dive my hook behind and through, over the stitch and behind again. Then I'm just going to pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and pull through 2. I will show you this a couple of times. So yarn over, onto the next stitch, so we're going to come from behind. So if I do this, and behind there, and through, and then bring your yarn up, and that kind of hooks around that post. And then yarn, go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. Now I will show you that again one more time. I always find that if I ease a little bit off my tension it does make these stitches a little bit easier to get through. So I'm just doing one back post double crochet on each stitch until I get to my corner. Sorry if I'm crocheting at a funny angle, it's if it just helps to kind of move it around a little bit rather than try to keep it flat. So I'm just at my corner, very last stitch on this row. Right, now we've got no more back post doubles to do, so we're going to work our corner like a regular corner. So straight through that chain 2 corner with 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2. And now we're back onto our next side, so yarn over, go round the back of that stitch and over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 for a back post double crochet. So we're just going to carry on this round. When you get back to the beginning, slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, where I will see you for round 4. Right, round 4. So we're switching colour again. So this is the other colour I'm using. So I'm just going to pick a corner. I'm trying to stay away from the tails from the previous round because I'm going to work into both of these tails now. So the tail I'm just about to put on here, plus the existing one halfway through the round. So attached into the corner with a chain 3, a double crochet, chain 2, and then into that same space another 2 double crochets to complete our corner. So 1 and 2. So this is a nice easy round for round 4. I'm just going to continue working that tailing, and I'm just going to go in and do a double crochet in each stitch across this side. So into that first one. So I will just do a side on a corner, just so it's 100% clear of what we're doing. So, like any other square, just stitch for stitch. There's nothing complex on this round at all. I think the hardest part of this round is weaving those tails in so you can't see them. Right, you're all woven in enough, so I'm just going to get rid. I've still got a little tail under there, so I think what I might actually do is later on I'll just take this out through the front and sew that through properly. But for now it can live there. Right, now at my corner, so like any other corner, 2 double crochets, chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So I want you to carry on until you hit the end of the round. Again, slip stitch into the top of that chain 3, leave a nice tail on this, and we will be changing colour again. Right, welcome to round 5. So our little square's getting a little bit bigger now, so on to my next colour. So I'm just doing two alternate colours from now on for the rest of this square. I'm going to join into a corner, I'm going to chain 3, and a corner like any other corner. So a double crochet, chain 2, and a 2 double crochets, all into that chain 2 corner. Right, so like we did the last time we were using this colour, we are now going to do a row of back post double crochets. Oops, even though I don't get them first time. once that first one's in there, it's pretty smooth sailing. Now there we go. Cheeky little thing. So I'm just doing one back post double crochet around each stitch. So I'm not going to do the entire round because, you know, it's the same as the other back post round, apart from we just have more stitches to work. I'll just do a couple more. Right, I'm just going to leave it at that. So when you get to your other corner, you're just working a corner like any other. So that is 2 regular double crochets, chain 2 and 2 crochets all into the chain 2 corner space. Don't forget at the end of the round to slip stitch into the top of your chain 3. So I will see you back for round 6. Right guys, welcome to round 6. So round 6 is going to be easy again. We're just going to change colour. Getting a bit happy with all these ends at the moment, but I will weave all those in before I move on to doing anything else. So a corner like any other corner, which is a chain 3, a double crochet, 2 chains and 2 double crochet. Right, so we're not doing any back post stitches for this round. What we are going to be doing is just a regular crochet stitch into both loops of each stitch. Working in any tails you can find as you are progressing on. As you can probably tell by now, I hate weaving my ends in, so I try to hide them as I go along, and it's less work for to do later. Right, so I'm going to chop this little bugger off and carry on. So I'm not going to do the entire round, just going to get past that corner. So again, I'm just doing double crochets into each stitch across. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to forget about this one and I'm going to work this one in. So back in the corner, so 2 double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochets into that chain 2 corner space. Sort of looking like Aladdin's magic carpet is this. Right, so I'm going to let you continue on with round 6 on your own. Don't forget to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 at the beginning, and we'll be moving on to our final row next, which will be round 7. Right, round number 7, and this is our final round of this little square. So attaching my other colour, and like always doing a chain 3, a double crochet, chain 2 and 2 double crochets just to make that corner. So I'm not going to do the entire round with you because it's not really necessary for this one. All we're going to do is it's a regular double crochet round, so it's just 1 double crochet into each stitch. I will do a few just to get this little tail away. Right, so like I said in the beginning of the video, you want to make 4 of these squares all the same in whatever colours you have chosen to use. You know, so these are, you know, the colours I'm using. This it's just the colours I'm using. So you know, it's entirely your choice. You know, I just like a nice, something nice, fun and bright. Whereas somebody else might like, you know, different shades of blues, different shades of reds. You know, it's entirely up to you. The only colour which I would suggest keeping the same is wherever in the videos where I do use black, because it does create that little bit of separation in between different styles of stitches and different blocks, and you know, just different parts of the crochet along also. Right, so just continue on with this square and make sure you slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 at the end. Hey guys, so now we've got all our squares. So you should have 4 of these and they are looking mighty fine. I'll just left that tail out because I'll put that in a bit later. That's got nothing to do with what we're doing now. Right, so you want to get your first section of your blanket the wrong side facing you. So that's the right side underneath, so the wrong side facing you and on a flat surface like I'm doing right here. I do apologise once again for using black yarn, but you should be able to see this clear enough. Right, so I want to go through with my needle and thread right through this chain 2 corner of my main part of my blanket now. And I'm just going to whip stitch it a couple of times through just so it doesn't go anywhere. And what we're going to be doing is sewing these squares into this gap. So since I have 7 stitches going up, plus I'm going to count one of my chain 1s in this corner as a stitch, so that's 8. I'm going to count 8 from this corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through both loops of that stitch because I want it sturdy. And I'm just going to draw that in slowly and pop another stitch through there. Now all we need to do is continue stitching, do stitch for stitch. So 1 stitch there and 1 stitch there. Again, I do apologise if this is a little tricky to see, but hopefully with my audio description you can still figure out what I'm doing. So I'm just going to continue until I get all the way around. So by this point you should have the same amount of stitches across here as you do here. It's just this square looks a little small because of the back post stitches, but it will stretch. So I'm not going to do the entire thing. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to get down to the corner to show you how I'm going to tackle that, and then it's just a case of repeating the same 3 other times on the other sides, always making sure that the wrong side is facing you. Right, so I'm just at this corner, so I don't have a chain 2 corner here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight underneath where that bridge gap is, and I'm just going to go straight through my chain 2 space on that corner of this square, and I'm going to go through that twice and pull it a little bit tighter, and a 3rd time. So as you can see on the other side, you can't really see the stitches, they kind of blend in with the pattern, as you can see. So carry on stitching and I will see you back when you have put all 4 of your squares on. So I will see you there. Right, so now that you've sewn all your squares on, you will have noticed that this sits quite nice here now, you know, in comparison with the rest of the blanket, and this is looking a bit, you know, a bit hard done to, but don't worry, once we progress further on with the blanket, these side bits will come out as well, and it'll end up being a nice even flat square by the time we're done. Right, so what we're going to do now is, I'm again going to use black yarn. I do apologise, because I just want to put an edge on here going all the way around to here. So it's nice and easy. Yeah, even if you can't see what I'm doing, I can tell you exactly what I'm doing. So with the 2 stitches here, so there's 2 stitches, and then that's the corner. So I'm going to go into this second stitch from this corner right here, and I am just going to draw up a loop, and then directly across to the top where we sewed that on, I'm just going to do a double crochet right in that stitch right there. So I'm going to turn it a little bit just so you can, so I can see what I'm doing better. And I'm just sorting myself out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do 1 stitch in each stitch, just like we would do a normal round across this square. So your corners up here are going to be the exact same as your corners throughout the blanket. All we're doing is just giving it a nice black border, or whatever colour you've decided to do on this section. Doesn't have to be black. As long as it's the same colour as what you did the edge here, for a nice disconnect through these squares. So you don't really need to see me do the whole lot, but what I will do is I'll come back just before the end here to show you what we do about joining it together. Right, so just coming up to the end of the square, so you can see I've got the nice little black border going on there. And what I want to do is I want to carry on crocheting with my double crochets until basically I can't go any further. So I'm not skipping over any. I'm just going to go into that last one. And I'm just going to put one in where that's sewn there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn my blanket just so I'm working into it at a better angle. Like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of rest it and see exactly where it wants to go. That's starting to get a bit of a better shape to it now. It's had another row. So this is just going to go into, should be the 2nd stitch. So I've got 1 stitch there into the 2nd stitch, and I'm just going to slip stitch, join into there, and I'm just going to slip stitch into the next stitch, pull me on, and that is the end of that section. So I'm going to leave this video here, and as part 2 complete, which I think is a nice little section to keep you all going, even though I can probably get these done quite fast. So I hope you're enjoying this so far, and don't worry about these squares not looking 100%. They will look 100% by the next couple of rounds, I promise you. Don't you worry about a thing. So until next time, keep an eye out for number 3 coming out soon. So all you need to do is hit that subscribe button and you'll get a notification for it. So keep stitching, and I hope you're having fun. Bye.